There is a sound that comes from the soul when you've fallen and you don't know how to get up. It's not loud, it's not poetic. It's the sound of breath breaking under the weight of regret, the sound of silence screaming inside you. And in that moment, you think it's over. You think the mistake defines you. You think the detour disqualified you. But what if I told you the detour was the destination? What if your worst failure is the raw material for your greatest calling? You see, when you're face down in shame, when your name feels heavier than your future, that is when heaven leans in. That is when grace whispers, I am not done with you. Because God's plan is bigger than your mistake. You thought the betrayal broke you, it built you. You thought the heartbreak disqualified you, it purified you. You thought the divorce defined you, it redefined you. The enemy didn't destroy your future, he simply helped deliver you to it. Because the moment you broke was the moment you began to become. We've been taught to run from pain, to hide our scars, to cover our flaws in filters and pretend we've never failed. But the ones who change the world, the ones who leave footprints on eternity, are the ones who bring their scars to the table and say, this is where God met me. Thomas Edison failed over 0 times before he lit the world. Imagine if he had let one failed experiment define him. Imagine if he said, I made a mistake. I guess I'm not meant for this. But he didn't. He didn't bury his failure. He learned from it. He sharpened his mind on the stone of disappointment. He rewired his relationship with loss, and through that mindset, that relentless, unshakable conviction, he turned failure into fire. You will not rise by perfection. You will rise by permission, the permission you give yourself to fall, to learn, and to rise again. Because God does not require your perfection. He calls for your participation, and your mindset, how you see the storm, is what determines whether it breaks you or builds you. The greatest prisons are not made of iron. They are built in the mind, forged in the belief that we are unworthy, unready, unwanted. But let me tell you something history already knows. Every giant in the earth was once a nobody with a burden. Carnegie was poor, Lincoln was broken, Disney was fired for lacking imagination. But they believed in something greater than their circumstance, louder than their critics, stronger than their shame. They believed in a plan bigger than their pain. Belief is not fantasy. It is the foundation. It is the declaration that I am more than what I've been through. That my mistake is not my identity, it is my classroom. That belief, that sacred defiance against self. Doubt is how you become. You don't become when life makes sense. You don't become when everything aligns. You become the moment you believe that even in chaos, you are still chosen. God's plan does not expire because of your error. It evolves through it. Your belief must do the same. It's hard to see clearly when the fog of failure wraps around your mind, when you've lost your way and your name echoes hollow in your own heart. Clarity doesn't come easy in the aftermath of disappointment. But listen, before the fire of vision comes the fog of confusion. Before the Red Sea parted, Moses stood trapped between a sea and a sword. Before David became king, he hid in caves, hunted like prey. And before the phoenix rises, it must burn to ashes. You think confusion is a curse. No, confusion is the cradle of transformation. Because in confusion, you begin to question. You begin to seek. You begin to surrender what was so you can step into what is to come. Clarity isn't born from certainty. It's born from surrender, from falling to your knees, lifting your eyes, and saying, God, I can't see the plan, but I trust the planner. And in that surrender, the fog begins to lift. The fire begins to stir, and what once looked like ruins begins to look like rebirth. Vision is not what you see with your eyes. It's what you see with your spirit. It's what you know when logic says quit, but destiny says rise. Vision is divine defiance, the courage to dream beyond your damage. Ford saw a world moving on wheels when horses ruled the land. Mandela saw freedom when chains gripped his wrists. And Jesus saw victory through the lens of a cross. You must stop seeing yourself through the eyes of your mistake. Start seeing yourself through the eyes of your mission. You weren't born to simply exist. You were sent by God as a disruption to darkness, as a breaker of cycles, as a walking contradiction to every lie the enemy whispered when you fell. Your vision is proof that even broken vessels still carry oil, that even cracked mirrors reflect light, and that even the worst mistake in your life cannot cancel the masterpiece God is still painting. Purpose is not a title. It's not a paycheck. It's not applause. Purpose is fire buried beneath the ashes of your pain. It's the thing that won't let you quit even when everything in you is tired. You don't find purpose on mountaintops. You find it in valleys, in hospital rooms, in silent prayers, in the heartbreak that left you breathless, and the whisper that said, "Still you are mine." Sarah Jakes Roberts once said, "Your pain is not punishment, it's preparation." And that preparation, that is the birthplace of purpose. You want to know your purpose? Look at your pain. Look at the burden that breaks your heart and the battle you survived that others didn't. That's not random. That's not coincidence. That's a clue, because God wastes nothing. Not your tears, not your trauma, not even the chapters you ripped out of your own story. He uses it all, and he turns it into purpose.